So what I have here is, I guess, my one main project, and this is essentially an RC car that operates over Bluetooth with the use of a microcontroller to control these two DC motors. The way this works is I have a ESP32 microcontroller, so this has an inbuilt Bluetooth chip, so it supports both BLE and Bluetooth 4.0. And the way I've wired this up is that the ESP32 then goes to a motor driver down here, this little red thing if you can see. And this motor driver is, I guess, like a secondary brain or something of that sort that allows for the independent control of both the speed and the direction of each motor. So you can have one motor spinning in the forwards direction while the other one in the backwards direction. You can also control speed, etc. And it's powered through these two battery packs. Both of these have 4 AA batteries for a combined total of 6 volts each. And both the ESP32 and the motors are externally powered by each of these battery packs. So one of them is controlling or powering just the ESP32. The other one is powering the motors and going into the motor driver. A note just on the powering of the ESP32 with the battery pack is that because the battery pack supplies greater than 3.3 volts, we do need to use the onboard 5 volt to 3.3 volt converter on the ESP32 to step down that voltage. So if you take a look here, the live wire from the battery pack is actually going into the 5 volt input on the ESP32. And then once it's plugged into the 5 volt input, it'll be converted on the board to 3.3 volts, which is the operational voltage of the ESP32. And then that's how it's powered. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my initial project. You can also see some of the code here. The way I'm doing this is that I'm sending commands. So F, R are, so forward, right, left, and back, and S is stop. So I send commands from my laptop over Bluetooth to the ESP32, and the ESP32 receives that command and then tells the motor driver on how to rotate each motor, which direction. So yeah, this is relatively simple code, but it's this project has enabled me to learn a lot about Bluetooth connectivity, serial communication over Bluetooth, control of DC motors, also a little bit of electronics and power in terms of powering both the ESP32 and the motors and things like that. Some areas where I could improve on this project are obviously, if you're familiar with ESP32 or Arduino code, you'll see that there's no PWM control. So speed control is one thing I think is, relatively easily implementable, and also something that I would like to implement going forward with this project, and that would be through PWM control of either motor. Another thing that we can look into is also better fine-tuning of these controls, because obviously with letter commands from the computer, it does make it a bit hard to have precise movements of the car. So probably going forward, the most important thing I want to do is set up BLE communication, because right now it's using Bluetooth 4.0 Classic. Set up BLE communications on the ESP32 and then use that with my iPhone to be able to control it via a gamepad or some other app that would give us fine-tuning. Addition of additional sensors, such as maybe like a sonar sensor or an IR sensor, maybe to do something with collision, prevention, something like that, collision warning system, something that puts up a warning or an alarm into the app you're using or on the serial monitor when you're a certain distance away from something. Maybe even something like a velocity sensor. Maybe we can change the motors with something that has like a linear encoder or something like that, or not a linear encoder, a rotary encoder that would maybe tell us the speed of the car via some math, find the velocity of the car through that.